I'm bringing you the top stories from across Ireland for the second week of January 2026. Today, we look at a nation navigating a deep winter chill, a massive standoff between our agricultural sector and Brussels, and a surge in infrastructure projects that will shape the landscape for years to come. Let's get straight into the headlines. These are stories of a nation being pulled in completely different directions all at the same time. It really makes you wonder, how can one country in the same week be battling wild weather, debating its entire future in the streets, and launching one of the biggest building sprees in recent history? That's exactly what we're going to get into. The weather, a tale of ice and water. First off, let's talk about the weather because it's literally a tale of, well, not fire and ice, but definitely ice and water. While Mother Nature was putting on a show, an Arctic blast swept across the country, bringing widespread snow and ice. We're not talking about a pretty dusting here. This was serious enough to shut down schools and cause major travel headaches. There was even an 18-hour status yellow warning that kept everyone on their toes. With all this wild weather, rumors started flying about a return of the infamous Beast from the East from 2018. However, Met Aaron stepped in quickly to calm everyone down. The official word? No, 2018 is not happening all over again. Still, everyone should prepare for an unsettled stretch of weather with above average precipitation heading into next week. Farmer protests and the EU trade deal. While the country dealt with nature, a very human battle was also kicking off. Let's shift gears to a huge debate over Ireland's economic and political soul, a fight that happened both on the streets and inside the corridors of power. On the 10th of January, thousands of farmers mobilized across the country. This wasn't just a small local grievance. It was a massive, coordinated protest against a major European trade deal that farmers feel is a direct threat to their way of life. The deal in question is a proposed agreement between the EU and the Mercosur group of South American countries. Simply put, it would make it much easier to trade farm products between the two regions. At the heart of the protest is the fear that the deal will flood the Irish market with cheaper beef. But more importantly, farmers argue that this imported beef won't be held to the same high environmental and quality standards that Irish producers must meet. The protests had an immediate, powerful effect. Seeing the scale of the opposition, the government officially announced that Ireland would oppose the deal as it is currently written. That was a huge win for the protesters. Infrastructure and housing. As if battling the weather and debating trade wasn't enough to pack into 7 days, this week also marked the start of a wave of new construction. We're talking about projects with a total value of 600 million euros kicking off in a single week. This isn't just a plan on paper. Diggers are officially hitting the ground. A massive piece of that is a 265 million euro project at Dublin Airport, where construction has begun on a 1.1 kilometer tunnel designed to improve traffic flow. It's a critical piece of infrastructure for our international gateway. Importantly, it's not just about transport. The housing crisis is also being tackled head-on. Major housing projects broke ground in Wexford and Dublin this week as part of an ambitious national goal to deliver over 50,000 new homes this year. Of course, with that ambition comes a challenge. Experts are already warning that delivery readiness, having the skilled workers and materials ready, remains a major hurdle. EU presidency and geopolitics. At the exact same time, the debate over Ireland's place in the world is heating up. Ireland is set to take over the presidency of the EU Council in July, and a political battle has erupted over what our priorities should be. On one side, Sinn Féin and others are framing the presidency as a golden opportunity to make Irish unity a central theme on the European stage. This creates two competing visions. One side pushing for an inward focus on the national question of reunification, and the current government looking outward. The government insists its focus will remain on major geopolitical issues, such as the war in Ukraine and the humanitarian crisis in Gaza. To show they're serious, the government announced 42 million euros in assistance for Palestine for the year, a clear signal of the active role Ireland intends to play internationally. Flooding in the West. Finally, while the East was frozen solid, the West was dealing with the complete opposite problem. The tail end of a massive storm unleashed its fury, causing severe localized flooding. It paints a stark picture. On one side of the island, schools were closed due to snow. On the other, families were being evacuated from their homes in the middle of the night due to rising water. Heavy rainfall led to severe flooding in parts of Galway, Clare, and Kerry. In response, the Department of Social Protection activated the Humanitarian Assistance Scheme for those affected. It's a situation that remains high on the radar as livelihoods and homes are put at risk by these increasingly unsettled conditions. Conclusion. To wrap it all up, in just 7 short days, Ireland has battled the forces of nature, fiercely debated its future, and broken ground on its next chapter through massive infrastructure projects. It is a nation of push and pull. It leaves us with one final thought. When you see a nation weathering storms, debating its identity, and building at a historic pace, you have to ask, which of these forces will define the year ahead? Is it resilience, ambition, or the resistance to change? Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe, and we hope to see you on the next one.